In one study, 99% of NFL players showed signs of CTE. However, I will say this though. And
how many brains did they get to study, though?
Well, it's like over 100. It's a considerable amount. However, these were people that were showing symptoms of CTE that they examined. So it's like this is like they haven't examined every dead football player.
Sure, of course. So but 100% of people who had symptoms and submitted their brain had it.
99%. Yes, 99, exactly.
Same thing.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, before the science was settled, Maroon spoke out, saying there was no connection between football-related concussions and CTE. But in a study published by Maroon, he failed to disclose his 30-year relationship with the NFL, which is nothing if not of a conflict of interest. Corbin cited that Maroon was depicted as a pro-NFL doctor in the film Concussion about Dr. Bennett Omalu's crusade to force the NFL to acknowledge the danger of concussions. Corbin mentioned this in the meetings. Corbin also mentioned the earlier linked 99% study that was in the news at the time of the meeting. Maroon apparently agreed with Corbin that CTE was a problem, but downplaying how severe and common the cases are, disagreeing with the 99% study, and reportedly saying that people needed to keep things in, quote, proper perspective. Corbin and Maroon argued back and forth in the middle of the talent meeting. It was said to be awkward and described as, quote, like time standing still. One source said that Corbin was not yelling or acting belligerent. It was seen as Corbin expressing his opinions at, quote, the wrong time and the wrong place, unquote, and that Corbin would have been better served by speaking to Maroon about his concerns one-on-one. The report states that some wrestlers in attendance at the meetings were impressed by Corbin speaking his mind, as he was essentially going to bat for his fellow performers against a voice that he felt did not have their best interests at heart. But because he spoke out of turn, interrupted the meeting, and was perceived to have made it about himself rather than let Maroon speak, it led to him being punished with the loss of his Money in the Bank cash-in opportunity. The report states that while he did suffer 2 embarrassing losses back-to-back, WWE Creative still has long-term plans, blah, blah. Okay, update. Fightful reached out to several talents and employees regarding the report, which was confirmed. 2 wrestlers that we spoke to also said that Corbin was more educated on the matter than most of the other talent. Obviously, if he's played NFL football, he'd probably know, okay, because they're very proactive on that. And it showed when
he had a lawsuit about it.
And it showed when he spoke out on the situation. Corbin was said to convey his point in an eloquent manner and didn't appear that there was any heat right off the bat. But bro, this is like, I mean, what do you get? What's your opinion on hearing that? What do you think? What are your thoughts?
Well, I go back to when we were talking about Japan last week, and we were talking about how the NFL had the same problem, and Omalu had indicated, and they tried to cover it up. And so wrestling doesn't want it to get out there either, because they don't care about the wrestlers' welfare. They just care about public scrutiny. And it's a shame that this guy, voiced his concern, and now he's getting buried because of it. And here's a problem. Here's a big problem, as you know, Disco. Every time they have meetings with the boys, there's such an atmosphere of fear and not speaking up or getting heat, or that most people won't even ask questions. And usually when you do, you end up getting heat, because I know the promotions that I've been in, when somebody stood up and asked something, usually they got heat for it.
Yeah, don't cross the boss is actually right. like bro, it's like regardless of this to me, that he would get bro, to me this sounds like this meeting was kind of like window dressing. It's like, hey, we're going to meet, we're going to go through the protocol of having the doctor explain concussion protocol to people,
and he made it real.
Yeah. And you got one guy that's like really educated on the subject matter, that's maybe probably more educated on the subject matter, kind of calling out the guy and some of the things he's not relaying to the talent, and he's getting heat for it.
How much interest could they have in the wrestler's well-being when they hired a guy that was denying the connection between CTE when he was working for the NFL?
Right. Well, I'm also equally baffled.
Didn't do no due diligence and see his past. You know what I'm saying?
But I'm also baffled, like you said earlier.
And then one more thing real quick. And then now this guy might be being buried for speaking out. If you had to take a list of 5 guys, right, that there was a good chance if you were in the ring with them, you might get concussed, give me the 5.
I know the first guy on Disco's list, and he's a current WWE superstar who has blocked Disco on Twitter.
What, good guys I've worked?
No, that you wouldn't work because you would get a concussion from them. Top five
There's a
guys.
good chance you'd get a concussion if anybody worked him, not just you.
Oh, if anybody worked him?
Yeah.
Could I include the Japanese guys?
Yeah.
Oh, Okada,
Right.
Kenny Omega,
Right.
Ishii. Just all the bro. I mean,
He's been saying that since the
I've just been
G1
seeing those guys
USA.
go.
First time I've heard it.
Here's what I'm saying.
He said it on the show.
Anybody
how
that does the running knees,
Right.
and anybody that does the forearms to the heads, and anybody that does the dragon suplexes, where bro, I watched the Kenny Omega Okada match, the G1 final.
Or the Ishii. Go ahead.
That's
He
how
thinks that's his name.
Ishii. That's how I pronounce the name.
That's tremendous.
Is that how I pronounce the name? Yes or no?
No, you are the master of pronunciation, my friend. From Jif to Leah, however you say her name.
Wait a minute. Is the guy's name not Ishii?
It's Ishii.
Yes, it is.
I thought it was Ishii.
No,
it is.
Ishii.
We're messing with you. It's
Okay, it is
Ishii.
Ishii, right? And it is GIFs.
Yes.
We already
Right.
proved that. It was
No.
confirmed by the guy that wrote.
Gifts.
No. The guy that invented the GIF. There's a link. I posted.
You're the
Yeah,
same guy that said it were called memes instead of
I was
memes.
wrong about that. I'm not wrong
Right.
about
The guy who invented – they've always been GIFs, and then the guy did one speech or something in 2013 where he suddenly claimed it was called the GIF, and pretty much the entire – No, but the entire
Guy
world
invented
just shit on that because he invented it years and years and years ago when it was always GIF, and then one time he said GIF, and then everyone's like, that's what it really is. But he probably got a concussion.
Bro, this was recently. This is just on CNN like 2 weeks ago.
I think they're just minding the old story.
CNN.com. I posted on Twitter. Okay.
Okay, well, I refuse to call it GIF.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm not
listen,
going to
Jeff,
either.
okay?
I don't call
Okay,
my
so let me-
peanut butter
so-
GIF.
Okay, but let me say this: is that like I watched the Kenny Omega Okada match,
Right.
and bro, I'm just saying they do a dragon suplex
Right.
on the apron.
Right.
Okay, and he's doing a dragon. Bro, you see how you land?
Yeah.
Okay, and
Yeah,
I'm like,
bro, I would have
okay,
never
that
done
is a
I would have never done that.
Okay, I would never do it, but they did it. Now people watch that, and you have performers because they don't have a lick of common sense. They repeat that, and if you have a bunch of wrestlers doing that move constantly, bro, the apron is hard. You're doing a dragon suplex. You're hitting the back of your head in the
So
apron.
let me ask you a
at
question.
some point,
Well, Captain Obvious, people know that. Here's my question.
Who knows
so
that?
it's
Why do you
Ishii. People don't think it hurts to get a dragon suplex on an apron?
well, why do you do it? To me, that's fascinating that these guys
Bro,
do stuff.
because the wrestlers get caught up in, bro, they get caught up in the adrenaline. They want to please the people, and they're willing to go out there and risk their life to entertain people. I mean, that's what it is.
okay,
But
that's
let me
not
ask you a
good.
question. So there's Ishii, there's Okada, there's Omega. Give me two more, and give me some American guys.
Yeah,
Seth
what about the guy who
Rollins.
blocked you on Twitter?
Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins, that's awesome.
Yes, because if you're doing
that's
running
awesome.
knees to my head,
Yeah,
okay, and if you're doing forearms to my head,
right,
I don't feel safe working against you because you have to be perfect every time you do those.
right.
And I don't trust these guys to be perfect because there's a history of hurting guys, especially Seth Rollins. Seth
Okay.
Rollins broke John Cena's face with a running knee.
Right.
And Seth Rollins, am I wrong?
Right, and
okay.
Then he
And
hurt
Seth Ro-
Sting too, or no? He got
He
hurt.
hurt Sting with the
Yeah.
buckle bomb, but that's Sting's fault for taking the move.
And
Okay,
he
and he
Finn
hurt
Balor,
Finn
too.
Balor on the bomb on the guardrail thing,
bro,
and that's
you know,
Finn
we
Balor's
gotta
fault.
get on-
And he broke John Cena's nose or
Or-
whatever.
I call it his face. It sounds much better to say he's break his face.
You
That
know
sounds
who we
more
need to get on
devastating.
here? Sting. We need to get him on here.
I would like to get Sting on here. Yeah.
Not too long ago, he was very, very nice. What do you
At some
think of
point.
PWG, bro? Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've watched a decent handful of matches. It's just
What do you think?
it's not my cup of tea, man.
Really?
I just
Why?
bro, because here's the thing. I watch. They do so many things that they get so little mileage out of.
Right.
It's like you're watching the show, you watch these guys do all these things. They're all very dangerous, and you're like, it's like the ooh ah, and at the end when the show is over, it's 4 hours long. What do you actually remember?
But wait a minute. Let me ask you a question. So when you're watching this, you're actually not entertained by nothing. There's nothing that you say, "Wow, this is good."
I see some cool creative spots,
Right.
but that's all they are.
I think it's like the best wrestling in the world, pretty much.
I disagree with you. I would wholeheartedly disagree with that. It's not even wrestling.
That's
Let me tell you
ridiculous.
something.
That's
It's not-
offensive.
it's
That's
not-
offensive.
it's
That's
not
it, Disco.
It's not. It's to me. And this is just my opinion. To me, it's
How
not.
How can you
wrestling.
say it's not wrestling?
Because they're not fighting.
That's ridiculous.
They're two people cooperating with each other, performing scripted acrobatics.
That's how it's always been.
No, it's not, Konnan.
In 1920,
it's not. Let me tell you something. You are more into that because that's the lucha. The lucha's kind of like more into that because you need cooperation to do a lot of the acrobatics. Okay,
right.
But when we used to do, like when I worked, we would try to hide the cooperation more.
Right.
We would try to not make it look like such an obvious work, but unfortunately what it's gotten to these days is because the actual acrobatic move is like the focal point of the match, that they're ignoring the cooperation it takes between two people performing.
But you weren't a real fight either, bro. Your match weren't a real fight.
I'm not saying sometimes they're not polished on the details.
Oh,
like they don't hide the details of like you're showing the guy lifting
Glenn,
the guy.
let me tell you something. I can't believe. Wait a minute. I can't believe that as smart as you're on some things, you're such an idiot in others. I can't. You're telling me that you sit there, bro, and you're watching the whole match, and you cannot any way see the beauty and the art of what they're doing.
No. I never said that. I said it's not
wrestling.
No. I said
you did say
no, it's not, because sometimes sometimes it goes. What professional wrestling is,
bro. You know what it is. Let me tell you something. Can I just say something? You know what you're watching, Disco?
What?
Modern wrestling. That's exactly what you're watching.
Okay, so I'll agree with that. Modern. It's modern wrestling, but it's not the wrestling that I grew up in, and it's not something that I would like. I don't even know how to teach guys this. I know how to teach them to do the wrestling that I used to do. Okay.
Yeah, and that comes in handy. That comes in handy, but bro,
I don't know how to teach him to do a spot where a guy grabs your hand and you're helping the guy climb up the ropes so he can jump onto you and give you a move, and you're sitting there helping him do it.
Dude, that's a lucha transitional spot that's been around for decades. That's a bad example.
I'm sorry. That's Mexican wrestling. That's lucha
bro,
libre.
You used to do Mexican wrestling too. You were good base for all the Mexican guys. They always wanted to wrestle with you, so you wrestled it too. You know, and when you had,
but watch when I do the spots with them. I don't do them like I would not do like I would not go overboard with the craziness.
I know you wouldn't.
I do basic stuff. I take the hurricanranas. I take the dives on the floor.
Right. And back then, how many people knew how to take an hurricanrana that was American?
You learned. You figured it out. But and then if you watch how I do it, it looks more. It doesn't look as polished.
What I'm saying is that you did. I know what you're saying, but I can't believe that wrestling, because, bro, you know, I helped introduce that wrestling to the United States, okay? Because I thought American wrestling was dull, and I hated like the characters like Dr. Yankum and the Repo Man. I just thought it was corny as shit. And I thought, bro, if they see Lucha Libre, the mask, the capes, the cool moves, and now you fast forward 20 years, bro, I'm so happy of how this has progressed, how evolved.
I'll tell you. I'll argue this with you.
It's just
I think it's gotten too polished.
Right.
And too acrobatic and not as rough as it used to be.
Okay.
When it was, bro, go watch Nitros. Yeah. Watch matches with me and all of us. Watch the dives and watch how we eat the dives on the floor when guys do topes. Guys would do the dives and they clobber us and we would fall together and we'd hit the floor hard. But we wouldn't do that often. Bro, these guys are doing it every single night. So when they're doing it, they're catching each other. They're taking the collisions out of it and like highlighted the acrobatics of the guy performing the move.
Bro, you sound like the old man on the lawn. This is modern wrestling. This is what they're doing. It's their time. It's their generation.
This is where it's evolved to.
And in 20 years, somebody's going to look at, they're going to be saying the same shit about guys 20 years from now. Oh, back in our day, it used to be like this and like that. And it's the same thing with music. The same thing with film. It's the same thing with everything, bro. It's great what we're seeing.
There's guys who appeared on Gorilla this weekend, like Walter, who are now going to be red hot and be wrestling all over the world just from how they came off on Gorilla. Joey Janela stole the show, among others, obviously. Matt Riddle, too.
Joey Janela's making – what's that guy making a show?
No, but listen, hear me out. Joey Janela just appeared on Gorilla this weekend. He got 6-star reviews.
That's great.
How does that
fit in my argument of wrestling's lost its mainstream popularity?
Is Joey Janela still on the list, D.I.?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
PWG's on the list, too.
Tremendous.
Disco, why is it Yes, if there's less people watching, everyone can agree to that. But if they're also watching through other means and every person is paying dramatically more money to get in, if the networks are paying more money for rights fees, if people are buying merch at higher levels than ever, if they're finding every way possible to monetize, the guys are selling signed pictures at the shows that they sell a few hundred of every show. People are paying $500 for premium meet and greets at every event. All that stuff adds up to the bottom line, and it all has to be factored in. The world is more complicated than just television.
All I got to tell you is go back and watch Nitros and Raws from 97, 98, 99. Watch the crowd reaction. See how many people there are in the arena, and just watch the crowd reaction. The fans are rabid.
Well, that's how the fans are.
They're deafening.
On the indies.
Okay,
they're not
the fans today are just geeks.
That's not true. Fans are
100%, bro. It's a niche
fans
audience.
are rabid at the hot shows. They're
not rabid. They're chanting like cheerleaders. They're chanting like cheerleaders. They're not rabid.
Evolution, man. Things change. Back in the day,
Konnan, would you rather work in in front of a crowd in 2017 or work in front of a crowd in 1997?
Well, it's way much easier.
Simple question.
In 1997. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And if you ask every single professional wrestler in the business today,
but here's what I would say. Here's what I would say. What happens is, like everything else, in 1997, they'd only seen so much stuff in wrestling. By 2017, they've seen everything that there's to see. So you just got to find different and unique ways of showing them something they've seen before, but in a new way, or you have to be resourceful enough to come up with something that nobody's seen in a long time or is original. So you just have to be smarter about because I can make the people at Crash go nuts, but it's not easy. You know what I'm saying? And in 97, it was real easy.
Yeah.